Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of the application. Okay, if you're not seen where we are at, you can refer the part 1 previous video. Okay, having said that, previous video I said we'll add couple of transactions to show the depth views, right? So in categories under depth, we have friends, home loan, personal loan, credit card loans, maybe it's a credit card payment. We'll make it as a loan. Okay, now friends. I'll just go for the friends part now. Okay, let's say I have a debt which I've taken from a friend of 10k, right? Maybe you would have taken it for some emergency, and whom it was, your friend's name, you know. Now I've added 10k. Okay, now let's go to dashboard. Now in dashboard, what you see is we had a 10k, right, which I've taken. That won't be considered as an income actually, because you got to repay back, right? So it is not an income. And you see, you're not repaid it, so it still remains as zero. Now, when you come to debt views, you see now, earlier this was not there, right? It was something like this. Now you see friends because you choose a friend, right? Now it is 10k. Let's do some one more debt friends, and this time it is 5k again. Maybe it's a friend two, second friend, or someone else. Give a name with whom you have taken a transaction. Go to depth view. Now you see you would have reason to with whom you have taken and things like that, right? This is history as repaid, and this is a debt. Now I'll just show this 5k repaid. Okay, when you see dashboard, your debt is zero. Now before doing that, let's go to portfolio. Now you see this, your net worth is reduced from the previous video. You have a debt of 15k from your friend zone, right? So this is added. And what type? Friends debt. Let's go to debt view. Now let's assume that you wanted to repay your friend, right? So everything comes under this. You don't go into a transaction. This transaction is just a track that you have taken a debt. And in this debt view, I will choose a repay. Now this, it's an optional, you can add. However, this amount, let's say I'm doing a full repayment to my friend, right? I choose this 5k, I confirm. You see this, now only it's 10k. Now history repaid, you see, so and so amount, so and so date you have repaid it. Now let's say now for unforeseen scene, you wanted to undo, you can do undo, it comes back. Okay, now if you go to a portfolio, you see now liabilities got reduced, right? Earlier it was 15k, since you paid the 5k. Now your liabilities have reduced to 10k. Now let's go to debt view. Now maybe this month or the next month, some date, you can choose a date of repayment. Okay. Maybe you're not able to pay 5k. Maybe you have only 2k. You choose 2000. You confirm payment. Okay. Now do you notice this? It was a total of 10k, out of which you paid only 2k and remaining is 8000, right? If you go to history repaid, you don't see this because you're not fully closed. That's the reason you don't see. But that's why you see it in active debts, because it's still active, that you are still yet to pay. If you go to portfolio, you see your debt gets reduced to 8. So this is basically on the debt view from friends. Okay, now what I will do is I will do an undo This is not an undo because until you do a fully, it's you can't undo it. Okay. Why I've undid is because I wanted to show the portfolio also along with the active loans. Okay. Now active loans. How do I make an active loan? In categories under debt. Maybe for instance, let's say you would have taken a car loan, right? Click on edit. You see this track as loan means you have an active car loan, right? So you click on car loan, save. Now when I go to debt view, you go to active loan, you don't see anything here because you're not entered anything. You see, but if you don't know how to use it, you have a tip. Go to the categories, edit. That is what we did, right? Now go to transaction. I'll just show one more thing. Debt, car loan, right? See the difference. Since I didn't make, I'll choose a home loan. Since I didn't make it as a track as a loan, you see the number of input it is asking. It's less. But since I made car loan enabled, you see it is asking a couple of things. Now what gonna happen? Now this will be a loan amount. Let's say you have taken a 10 lakh, 10 lakh car loan, right? You would have taken it from what? SBI bank. You type it. Maybe now for at the rate of 10. You see this. The EMI gets auto calculated, right? This is based on a typical simplified calculation, but maybe the bank charging maybe is different. So let's say now I'm taking it for 5 years, that is like 60. You see, the moment I update it, you see your end date comes in picture, right? Because your start date is from today, that's the reason, and your EMI is 21. To simplify this, to show what I will do is I will do only for 3 months so that I can just show how things work. Okay, with SBI Bank, you have taken, you click on add transaction. Now you go to portfolio. Now you see a net worth, right? Actually, because you have loans. Okay, so all together it's a loan category, and this is fund step. It is not separating us from what type of loans for now. In the near future, I have a plan to separate what loans. Now go to debt view. You see this active loan gets started. Now you have car loan, right? Now let's say you plan to buy two cars. So that to just to show the difference, huh? And this was something 2 lakh. Same with maybe let's choose this time HDFC. Same. Maybe it's 2 lakhs, right? Maybe for 2 months you wanna do it. Okay. You can mention this is what second hand car, something like that, just for that you understand. Add. Now go to your portfolio. It still gets reduced, right? Because this loan is amount is inclusive of interest. That's the total. It based on the EMI with the tenure you're gonna pay. Okay, it is not just a principal amount. The altogether loan amount with interest is what you pay. I think you have a loan amount of 110 lakh. That's plus two, right? That's 12 lakhs. But additionally, you're paying 19 point something as interest. Okay, now let's go to debt views. Active. Okay, now if you see this total payable is 20 lakh 2503, right? We already taken principal of 20 lakh in the first set of car. Since we took one more, we see one more car loan. Now how do you differentiate? Is all differentiate with the names that. Let's go for this. This is the first one where we took for 10 lakh. This is the one what we took for 2 lakhs. If you wanted to see, just put a cursor on this, you'll see it's just 2 lakh, interest is 2503. and the EMI is 101252. Okay, and it is was for 2 months, and we'll see a repayment history if we have anything. Technically, it is basically a tracker. You just gotta input values and it tracks. It is not gonna see whether your salary having so much of balance should I do XYZ factor is not considered. Keeping that in mind, let's do an EMI. Okay, maybe this is the first EMI I'm doing, right? Like every month you do, you come to this pay EMI, then click on confirm payment. Now, once an EMI is paid, you see you paid for 1 month and remaining 1 month left. The reason is you see the tenure is 2 months, right? And remaining is this 1 lakh change you have to pay. Now in history, you can see like for which month you had paid. Let's do one more payment. In that way, this gets closed, right? The moment this gets updated, you don't see a active. So basically, this is active loan, right? The other one was you closed it with the last EMI that gets closed. So that you don't see any history. This is only inactive, but that is again in future based on my need. If I feel like I want to track the loans, so on and so forth, I think I will add an option of closed loans tab also. Same way for this current also, if I want to do EMIs, right? Like I can choose and pay. So this gives you a track record of how much loans is spent or how much loan you have to spend money for. Now in portfolio, as you see the loan amount you're paying EMIs, this gets reduced. So your debt and your net worth gets updated. So now let's go to analytics. Year to date. Now you see this EMI, right? This is a EMI you paid, correct? The loan as an EMI. And this is a friend's debt. Now invest and debt. Now you see a car loan. And this is friend's loan. Total of 99 change you have to pay. I think this is already covered. Vehicle tracking, comparison, forecast, OTTs. I think vehicle and OTT tracking is pending. Maybe I'll use this video itself to cover that. Let's go for a vehicle. Okay, so this is basically you want to track in a year how much you're spending, right? Maybe for bike fuel, I spent 450 rupees fuel transaction. Go to dashboard. You see, 450 is spent on vehicle alone. And this expenses including everything, all the expenses what you paid. Now if you go to analytics and specifically you wanted to go for vehicle tracking, see previous month there was no record, right? And zero. Only we added in current month where you spent on fuel. So then you'll see the category as fuel year to date. Now what OTT is not there. Now let's do that part also. OTT, we have added really Netflix, maybe 200 rupees a monthly plan. I'm taking it. Consider I'm using it with this credit card. Yeah, go to analytics, go to OTT tracking, year to date. Okay. Now, what does this do? Maybe every time you'll have a multiple OTTs, maybe it can be YouTube Premium, Spotify Premium. Everything is categorized as OTT for now because I don't want to have it music separate, video separate, OTT separate. So everything is like a premium versions of everything is under OTT track. Now here, as and when you added new things, the platforms you see Netflix, maybe if you add an Amazon Prime, Geo Hotstar comes in, Spotify, all those things comes in as and when I started to track. And in the monthly trend, you can start saying. For now, it's only December month is why you see like this. Okay, so in the next video, what I'm gonna do is maybe I can just show. um, credit card expense and vehicle tracking expense, OTT tracking expenses, and all from my profile. So that gives you a kind of a real data. Yes, it's not fully to the approximate, but yes, it's kind of a real data. Okay, so I think one more video, and yes, and that will be, this is how the app is. Okay, thank you.